5 years ago, Thanos erased half of the population of the universe. But the people of this planet brought everyone back with a snap of a finger. The sudden return of the population provided the necessary energy for the emergence to begin.
How long do we have?
7 days.
What do you get when you cross the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the ancient astronaut theory? You get Marvel Studios' origin story to the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe, starring Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Leah McHugh, Brian Tyree Henry, Lauren Ridloff, Barry Cogan, Don Lee, Kit Harington, Selma Hayek, and Angelina Jolie. That's what you get. My name is Travis, and this is Planet Recap. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know before watching Marvel Studios' 26th film and 30th property. Whether this is the very first MCU property you've been introduced to, or you're just a casual viewer of the series and need a quick brushing up, I'm here to fill you on to everything that's come before. Let's begin. So I can't truly dissect the preludes of Eternals without first explaining one important matter, that being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU. A collection of, so far, 29 cleverly woven, interlinked properties that begin with Iron Man in 2008 and has journeyed through until Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings in 2021. So in the context of Eternals, we are focusing on a rather large part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with a very heavy emphasis on universe. The MCU has definitely gotten more and more cosmic as the series progresses, but it's about to get even more so. Now here's the thing about the Eternals. Although this team of characters have had zero reference up to this point, they have had more connective tissue to the MCU than you may initially realize. To better understand this brand new team going forward, we gotta address an insanely powerful and also barely mentioned race of beings within the MCU, the Celestials. To put it plainly, Celestials are giant armored space gods. In the framework of the Marvel Comics, Celestials are basically a race of deity space scientists who roam the universe conducting experiments on young planets. They essentially find these baby planets, fuse their DNA with the inhabitants of these worlds, and then just kind of sit back and watch what happens. They will eventually check back in thousands of years at a time to study each planet's progress. The Celestials will make some pretty drastic adjustments if the planet does not live up to their standards. This could range from a total global cataclysm to a slap of the reset button. Now, I mentioned the ancient astronaut theory at the beginning, a hypothesis which states that early man was visited and influenced by the teachings and technologies of extraterrestrials thousands of years ago, which in turn aided the progress of early human civilizations. It's a beautifully insane theory that the TV show Ancient Aliens dives into and never comes up for any air. But it's an idea that these space gods are essentially embodying here. So continuing on, the MCU has featured 3 Celestials so far, in both Guardians of the Galaxy films as a matter of fact. In the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, our misfit family team of heroes seeks the advice from a hoarder of ancient relics, fauna, and species known as the Collector, who has built a mining colony inside of, you guessed it, the severed head of a Celestial. It's inside this big gross space noggin the Guardians of the Galaxy learn from the Collector the history of an ancient weapon that was once wielded by Celestial number 2. We see this particular Celestial in a kind of flashback scene effortlessly wipe out all of life on an entire planet. Heavy stuff.
There's a little pea coming out of me right now.
In the Guardians of the Galaxy sequel, we get a front and center meeting with our third cinematic space god in the form of Kurt Russell, aka Ego, aka father to Guardians of the Galaxy leader Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. The way Kurt Russell explains his celestial origin: he began as a literal consciousness floating through the void that began growing matter around itself until it became a living Alice in Wonderland ayahuasca planet. Spoiler alert, Ego was revealed to be the villain of that film who was hell-bent on terraforming everything in the universe to become himself. He's defeated at the end, but point being, he was powerful as hell. So that's 3 Celestials for you. That covers the more intergalactic backstory of this. As for the more earthly goings-on, at this point in time, Earth's mightiest heroes just defeated the Mad Titan Thanos, who had been teased then and again throughout the MCU since the first Avengers movie. Thanos had collected the 6 devastatingly powerful Infinity Stones and used their combined energies to dust away half of the universe. A very psychopathic method to correct a very relatable overpopulation issue.
You're insane.
A small price to pay for salvation.
5 years later, The Avengers live up to their name by redoing what Thanos had done via time travel and bring back everyone who had been dusted. So, just as half of all life in the known universe was suddenly gone, now all of life in the known universe has suddenly doubled in just a single moment. Thanos is defeated, and that is where we are now in this marvelously crazy timeline. All MCU Disney Plus shows aside, which are totally canon and absolutely amazing, we have yet to see the more drastic repercussions of the blip in the films. What sort of ripple effects has it produced, in both a grounded sense as well as a more cosmic sense? And that's the story so far, ladies and gentlemen. I'm more than happy to make these videos for the casual viewers, but to those casual viewers and non-watchers of the MCU, hear me out, go check them out anyway. Almost all of them are on Disney Plus. It's a fantastic series of films and shows, and I promise that you'll connect and fall in love with at least one, if not all of them. For the condensed yet definitive Eternals experience, I recommend checking out Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which is a very condensed choosing, but they definitely set the emotional stage for what comes next. All this said, please enjoy Marvel Studios' Eternals.
You can't protect